My goodness. And there it is. Wow, gets the spin to go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for day number 2 of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Queens from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV, and we are excited to bring you this coverage once again, day 2. So after today, all competitors in the field, all 110 of them, will have 10 games underneath their belts, and we'll kind of get to see a picture of what the cut line is going to be. We had some high scores yesterday, but the cut is still in the minus overall. So that'll be something we'll be diving into over the course of today on this 42-foot pattern. The second time, technically the third time, these athletes have been able to see it out here. The story of day number 1, Jordan Richard averaged 246 for her 5-game block, including a 290 in game 4. She actually finished with 559 for her last 2 games. So in talking to Jordan, she got into the right bowling ball in the second game, really didn't have to move after that. Was able to kind of navigate and stay in the same area. And from there, it was just lights out, repeating shots, keeping her angles pretty tight, and then striking for days, basically. So we're going to see if that can continue today. But for right now, we're going to go out to the lanes. We're going to start off by seeing Stephanie Zavala, who won the Greater Cleveland Open last week. She was sitting in second place overall. She was at plus 188 for the day. In comparison, Jordan leading at plus 230. So pretty big margin from first to second place there to start. But since Jordan is on the low end of the house, we have 8 channels available today here on bowltv.com to check out. So that's where we're going to head to kick things off. So let's do that right now. Go full screen here, and we'll bring in Jason Thomas in just a little bit. Mike Flanagan will be joining us throughout the course of the day as well from Inside Bowling.
Unless you are making the turn from the high end all the way down to the low.
And we'll be underway in just a second. And folks, JT is running around making sure all the scoreboards are up there. All the game of graphics are getting updated. So those will be coming in just a brief moment before JT joins us here for game number 1. A big good morning to everyone watching us on Facebook and YouTube as well. We will be here for game number 1 before we switch the cameras or switch the feed to bowltv.com only. So please feel free to head on over, check it out. You do have to subscribe to watch the rest of the block, and that goes for the entire course of the competition. We'll have these sneak peeks throughout the course of the week, but definitely want to get that subscription in if you want to check out the Queens here over the course of the entire 2021 event. A few different price points. The event ticket to watch live coverage of the Queens, including the stepladder finals on May 18th. $12.95. You can pick up a monthly recurring subscription, which gives you access to the entire website for $9.95. And then the annual recurring subscription, $79.95. Transaction fees do apply for all of those. So our first look here at Stephanie, plus 188. Coming off the win in just her 3rd career PWBA Tour event as a member. So pretty crazy. We've seen some players, we talked a little bit about it yesterday with Jordan Richard, I believe winning in her 4th event as a member in 2018. And Stephanie in 3 events. Pretty impressive stuff from the former Sam Houston State standout. And folks, as we settle in here, watching Stephanie, Jessica Abel, and then Sofia Granda. But as we kick things off here, I'd like to welcome in Jason Thomas to the show for the first time here at the Queens. Jason Thomas, hello.
Hello, Aaron. Yesterday my audio didn't work, and I don't know if I think that was on purpose. Somebody sabotaged me. Nobody wanted to hear me speak.
Well, technically, it was just sabotaged on mine and Mike's end, so everyone else could hear you loud and clear, just not us. So glad we figured that out, and we have you here joining us for day number 2.
Yeah, it was a great first day. It was interesting to see, Mike Flanagan be right for a change.
Wow.
And well, he's not here to defend himself, so
that's true.
But no, he really called that Jordan Richard thing. She bowled great yesterday. We're going to get a chance to watch her here today, see if she can continue her great bowling. But yeah, I mean, basically, you have a day like that locks you into the cut, and now you can kind of get some more information the next couple of days for the matches. But it was interesting. Really, nobody's out of the tournament at this point. Everybody in the field still has a chance to get there. Obviously, there are a couple players that need some big days today, but it was kind of an interesting day. It's basically wide open as far as who can get to the cut. There are a couple of big name players that are currently on the outside looking in. They'll need to have good days today and tomorrow. But these days go by so quickly. These 5 games are over in the blink of an eye, and then you've got to figure out what to do the next time. So it's going to be fun to watch. Part A of the tournament over the next 2 days, and then we'll have Part B, the funnest part of really any tournament, those head-to-head double elimination bracket matches.
They are fun, aren't
they? They are.
In talking to Jordan yesterday on Bowl TV after she wrapped up that impressive block, she said from watching A Squad a little bit earlier in the day, she actually felt that she saw a few players get a little bit farther left than where she thought she needed to be. And, Jordan's typically, considered one of the higher rev players on tour. And she actually said she wanted to keep everything kind of in front of her, kind of play more to the right. And from there, it was kind of after game 1, she said she made a ball change in the 10th frame. And then after that said she only moved 3 boards the rest of the day. So obviously with the way the cross works here in this 42-foot condition, you're going to see a lot of the fresh. Mike mentioned during qualifying, your first 2 games are on fresh, so 40% of the tournament on fresh. But, minimal moves, a lot of great shots, and then that striking power she delivers with as well resulted in a great day. And she's taking a look at live scoring, which is available right now, folks. 3 for 3 so far to kick things off.
Yeah, she's keeping it going. The thing I think these players need to pay attention to is as soon as you make a good shot, say you're lined up, and it could be anywhere between 5 and 12, to start where you're crossing the arrows. As soon as you make a good shot and you 4-pin or go high, move, because if you don't, you're going to probably waste a game or more thinking, hey, I gotta try to make this work from out. No, you can move in on this pattern. There's a little bit of a cliff at 15. So as soon as you start to see that transition starting to happen, move, and you can put together a block like we saw Jordan put together yesterday, where it's just really no bad games in there. She didn't really hit any pairs where she lost her look, and it just got better as the day went on. So that's out there.
Taking a look at the numbers, we mentioned plus 230, a 246 average for Jordan. Right now, the cut to advance is -8, so that is quite a discrepancy. And JT, as you said, still pretty much everybody has a chance to get, shake off a bad day 1. We've talked about that previously. Sometimes there's opportunities to basically bully yourself out of this event to day one. So a lot of people still within reach of this. And just kind of taking a look at the breakdown here, Jordan was the only player to average more than 240. 4 players averaged better than 230, 16 better than 220, 31 averaged better than 210, 58 averaged more than 200. One good day here, one good block can put you in position here to make this bracket, which, essentially as we talked about, and you'll hear us continue to mention it, is that 2 events in one. You just got to make it to the dance. That's all you want to do, and then everything starts over fresh. Obviously, your qualifying determines your seating in the bracket and who you're facing, your path, hopefully, to the TV show. But it is all fresh, and you only have to worry about one opponent after that instead of the whole field and total pinfall and all that excitement.
Yeah. I was really fascinated yesterday by the number of players that were kind of between, minus 30 and plus 50. There were just a huge number of players in that group. And, I think it's a testament to the, skill of Nick Hoagland to put out a pattern where, basically the pocket's in play for everybody, no matter how, where you want to play them, but also doesn't yield, ridiculously high scores. We just saw, all these record-setting scores from the women's championships coming into this event. So these players can light them up and put up huge scores. And we saw it last week in Cleveland. If you give them a little bit of room to play with, we didn't see that yesterday. There's only one player that averaged over 240. It sounds like a lot, but these players are all capable of averaging 240 if you give them enough room to play with. So it's really a great pattern that allows a lot of different players to play where they like to play and still have a look. And it's not really yielding too many high scores, but they're there if you bowl a great game. So I just really like it. I think it's the kind of pattern you want to see.
Taking a look at some of the top scores overall. I mentioned Jordan at plus 230, Stephanie Zavala plus 188, Danielle McEwen plus 183, Caitlin Johnson plus 151. All those players bowling right now on B squad. The high competitor from A squad yesterday morning, Shannon Sellens at plus 148. Shannon, one of the most consistent performers over the past couple of years at the major championships. Made the TV show at the U.S. Women's Open in 2019. Liz Johnson bowling on this squad, plus 142. Gigi Mason had a 297, sits in 7th place overall at plus 139. She was on A squad. Kelly Kulik also on A squad, plus 136. Benia Kobo plus 135, and then Kayla Pashina plus 127. Your top 10 entering competition today. For those of you watching on bowltv.com, one of the great resources that you do have available here that we use throughout the course of the competition as well. Above the chat area, you will find a couple different tabs, and the one in the middle is actually a link to one of the pages we have on bowl.com for the Queen. So essentially that is our page that we use to collect this information that we talk about throughout the course of competition. So all that available at your fingertips, not only here on bowltv.com, but on bowl.com/queens and pwba.com. But we got the schedule, roster, prize fund, pairings, condition, live scoring, topography report, and of course all the standings as well. JT mentioned record scores at the women's championships, and the 2 players paired up with Stephanie here each added their name to the record book. There's only one at the women's championships. But Jessica Abel was part of the highest team game in tournament history for a 4-player team, which was introduced at the women's championships in 2014. So she teamed with Adrienne Hare, Emily Fagan and Deandra Asbeatty to shoot a 10:43 total for their final game in the team event. So that's a 260 plus average for a team game, which is, as you can relate to, even just competing in leagues back home does not happen very often. So to have everybody lined up for a game, shoot a big number, pretty fun to watch, a lot of strikes. So they set the 4-player team game record, currently sitting in 7th place overall. Team standings, and then Sofia Granda bowled with Maria Jose Rodriguez, and they created, or they took over, I should say, the doubles record for the women's championships, and did so in demanding fashion. There had never been a 1,500 set in doubles prior to Maria and Sophia lacing up just a couple days ago here at the NBS. They shot 1560 for their double score. Maria had 810, so it became just the 9th player in tournament history to roll an 800 series. And Sophia added 750. In talking to Maria and Sophia after the fact, it was one of the players who usually bowls with Maria was unable to make it this year. And so she was actually looking at the roster for the Queens, and she saw Sophia was on the roster. So she gave her a call and said, "Hey, Sophia, want to bowl on my team with me? Bowl doubles together." And Sophia was like, "Really? You want me to bowl? That's awesome. I'll bowl with you." I mean, who would say no in that situation? You get to bowl with Maria Jose Rodriguez. That's awesome. And then from there, they set records. So very cool story, very awesome and fun to watch. And a tournament record on the way to the lead, 1560 doubles performance. Just absolutely phenomenal. You know, folks, we mentioned Jordan Richard. We talked about her dominance through the first round, and we glance at live scoring. What do we see? Up on 17 and 18, Jordan Richard front 7. She is on fire here at the National Bowling Stadium. We're covering lanes 39 through 72, outside of 43 and 44. That's the one pair that offers us a little bit of a tricky situation to cover. So we do not have the low end cover, but the live scoring does make that available. And unfortunately, I talked about it. And then I see a split up there in the 8th frame, but Jordan's still off to a demanding start. She's going to add on to her overall lead here after game 1. Just a reminder to the good folks watching on Facebook and YouTube, we just have a couple of frames left before we're going to push the stream only to bowltv.com. So still time to subscribe to watch for the rest of the week. Once again, a few different price points to come in at. Live event coverage for the Queens only, $12.95. Pick up a monthly recurring subscription, $9.95, which gives you access to the entire site, including archived events, historical coverage in the vault, coaching in the lab, the backstage channel as well for behind the scenes, and more Bowl TV events. Zavala working on strike stay clean, had the washout conversion on this lane. Lane 54 last time up. 9.6. That's more than a half. Stephanie with the spare. Going to be in the two teens. Going to get to most likely north of plus 200 here. Sophia working on a couple strikes in a row, going pretty direct. Not going to make it 3 though. But, a player at minus 40 can have a good day here and get into the mix. $213. Zavala will be at plus 201, our newest champion on the PWBA tour. Quick look around the center here. Looks like Brandy Branca's going to have herself a nice game already in the 250s. One more strike and get her into the 260s to start things up. Sophia finishes with 197. She will be at minus 43. Jordan picked up the split she left in the 8th frame, struck in the 9th. She can still shoot 277. So a chance for her last 3 games here at the Queens. She finished up yesterday with 290 and 269. Could be 277 here. So that is a big number for 3. North of plus 200 if she's able to throw the double there. Angie Ramirez-Perea had a chance to get into the 270s. 9 count on her first shot in the 10th, so 258 her max score. A spare and a strike on the field. Shannon Pluhowski, 246 out of the gates. Liz Culkin, 235. Claudia Cabrera, 240. Some of the bigger scores across the house here. Brandy Branca did finish with 254. Alexis Nair, 236. All right, everybody, with game 1 wrapping up here on our featured pair, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break to switch off the Facebook and the YouTube feeds, and everything's going to be over at BowlTV.com now, folks. So once again, a big thank you for everyone who joined us here on Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully we'll see you over at BowlTV.com. Once again, a few different subscription pricing points to watch the rest of the Queens. It's going on until the 18th with the stepladder finals live here on BowlTV.com. So we hope to see you throughout the course of the day. Join the chat. It's a great community. A lot of good folks out there. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And we will see you in game 2 here from the 2021 USBC Queens.
good athletes. You may now move and begin your next game.
All right, everybody, into game number 2 we go here. B squad, second round of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Queens, the first major of the 2021 PWBA Tour season. We're going to head over and take a look at our defending champion here at the Queens, Dasha Kovalova, who has earned a spot in the bracket already based off of being the defending champion. So one of the perks of winning the Queens is when you return the following year, you're automatically seated into the bracket. So Dasha, and essentially that works multiple ways. So if she were to happen to fall out of the top 64, she would be awarded the 64th spot. But depending on where she qualifies, if she's in 15th place, she'll be the 15th seed. If she's 30th, she'll be the 30th seed. If she's first overall, when it's all said and done, she'll be the top overall seed. So Dasha said she was planning to treat this event just like any other. She had a little bit of a sigh of relief knowing that she doesn't have to worry about missing the bracket, but it wasn't going to change her philosophy heading into how she was going to attack this particular week. Said the stadium hasn't always been the most kind to her as well, so looking to change that as well. And plus 113 so far through 6 games. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Started the day tied for 17th. She's going to be joined by Mallory Nutty, who delivered a strike right there for an early double, who's at minus 24. And then Brianna Clemmer, one of the rookie standouts this year on tour, who's at minus 19.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising to me, Aaron. But I had an interesting conversation about Brianna, and it was basically, I noticed she was throwing the ball very hard the first couple of weeks, which I liked, and seemed like that's what the patterns called for. And I hadn't really seen her bowl like that before. And after talking to a few people, what I found out was she's been throwing it like that lately. And so, I was excited to see her throw it like that because I knew she could throw it slower and hook the lane if she needed to. But for whatever reason right now, that's just kind of her A game. And she's going to have to start working on getting that slow hook game back because, she's going to need it, especially here at the stadium with this is a very speed sensitive building. And so maybe we're seeing a little bit of the struggles with that process, here the first 6 games of the tournament for Brianna.
Actually, the first player out of the cut to start competition today was at minus 10. But yeah, really never got anything going yesterday. A couple 190s to start, a pair of 2 teams, and then finished with 178. But certainly well within the mix with what we've kind of seen with the scoring pace so far. But the good news for Brianna and that whole pair is they do get to switch to the low end of the house after this game. So we've seen some bigger scores come from the lower end. So an opportunity to maybe grind out here in the upper 70s, pairs that don't get quite as much play as some of the other ones, and a chance to maybe get their pins here in 3 and 4. But
yeah, you would think, if you were starting on the low end, like for example, Shannon O'Keefe started on the low end yesterday and worked her way up as the block went on, and started off red hot and then kind of cooled off in the middle of the block, and then had a big last game to get herself more than 100 over. But you wonder if because of the way the different sections of the house play, will that require less moving? Starting at the low end and working your way up, and is that even a good thing? Sometimes you like to see the migration, from where you start to, moving left. We saw Jordan Richard yesterday. She talked about only moving 3 boards the whole day. So it's interesting. Some of the players like to see, having to jump left and open the lane up.
So a question in the chat about Dasha, essentially, is she pacing? And I wouldn't call it that. Once again, she can improve her seeding throughout the course of these 15 games of qualifying. So if she finishes anywhere from 1 to 63, she gets whatever spot that is. And then if she happens to be 64 or lower in the standings at plus 113, that's probably not going to happen. She would get the 64th spot. So, and that was a change. It's probably been close to 10 years now since they made that change. Previously, the defending champion did not bowl the qualifying portion at all. They got to rest up and just wait for the bracket. Essentially, we're usually ranked or basically put in the middle of the bracket. I think they're the 32 seed or something like that. But that was some of the feedback from the players that they wanted the ability to go out there and bowl and get used to the conditions and see how the pattern develops. Because it wasn't like they were going into the tournament completely like you don't get to bowl at all. They had their own practice session prior to the start of match play, but the feedback said, hey, we want to bowl out there. We want to learn the pattern. We want to see pace of play. We want to kind of all those things. So that change was made, and that's reflected across all the events that kind of use this double elimination format. The Senior Queens Masters, Senior Masters, all kind of follow suit with that now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that change. I thought, it could certainly be a disadvantage if you didn't even get to bowl at all, even though you do get the automatic spot. You especially in today's day and age where transition is so important, and understanding how lanes transition and understanding the different progression of bowling balls, as transition happens, it's super important to have that information going into these matches. There's some questions in the chat about bowling on the wrong lane. Did you see that, Aaron?
I did not.
Yeah. So, Chris William, he was gave an answer on that one. The PWBA rule is a little different than the USBC rule on that. PWBA rule is if you throw a strike, you have to shoot it over on the correct lane. If you don't strike, you shoot the spare, keep the score, and then go to the correct lane the next frame. The reason for that is because of the nature of the way the PWBA competition works, there's an advantage to bowling on the wrong lane if you were to just get the shot over again with no consequence. So the reason for that is, let's say you go to a new lane and you want to get an idea of where to play on that new pair. Well, just accidentally bowl in the wrong lane, you get a free look at what that next lane's doing. So that's why the rule is a little different. It just reflects the nature of the competition.
Come on, JT, a bowler wouldn't do that.
Never.
Taking a quick look at live scoring. Brandy Bronca, who shot 254 in the opening game, has started with the front five on 63 and 64. So she's having a pretty nice start to the day. I feel she was right around that number, if I recall. She's +2 to enter competition today, so just inside the number, but finding some momentum here in the early going.
I did find it interesting that the top four yesterday were all off of B squad. I was a little surprised at that because usually as they keep putting this flatter pattern down, you know, the pattern plays more and more difficult. And, you know, that would seem to indicate that you know, there wouldn't be as many high scores on B squad, but there were, which is good because, you know, it shows there's good squad equity. I had a conversation with Chuck Gardner yesterday, and he said Dasha was very, very intent on making the cut on her own volition this week. And Chuck's a great cheerleader for the players, and saying, "You're going to make the cut. Don't worry about it. You're going to make it." And she's like, "No, I want to earn my way. I don't want to." And she was just like adamant about it. And so she told Chuck, "Hey, if I'm being, you know, weird, it's just because I want to make the cut." And Chuck's like, "Hey, when you stop acting weird, that's when I'm going to worry about you. You know, that's just you."
Yeah, Dasha mentioned that you know, when she relaxes a little bit too much out there, that's when the mistakes start to happen. That you know, she said, you know, things get a little sloppy out there, start missing spares, you know, just not making the best shot she can. So yes, that was the report I got from her prior to her making the trip out here, was that that was going to be the plan. But leading in points heading into the Queens, it's pretty. I know. I'm trying to think of kind of what other bowlers have kind of followed this trajectory, if you will, of, you know, Dasha was out on tour for a couple of years, nothing too crazy, you know, just getting checks here and there, but no TV shows, no top fours. I think her best finish was 7th overall on the tour prior to winning the Queens. And then all of a sudden, this ascension just started happening where all of a sudden the confidence increased. And she went from being a player we always kind of wondered if is she going to make the leap, to all of a sudden the leap has happened. It's jumped into superstar status, and now leading in points here through 6 events, a win, 3 TV shows. It's pretty amazing to see just the time and the effort, and the improvement was there every year too. When you look at the standings and you look at the, you know, the the course of the full season. And there were slight improvements, and then all of a sudden 2019, and just off into the stratosphere.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of the way it happens sometimes. We say it all the time where, hey, this player's so talented, so good. As soon as she wins, it's going to be vaulting into the stratosphere, and we're going to see her win 3, 4, 5 times. And it doesn't always happen that way, but it certainly has for Dasha Kovalova. And there was a lot of foreshadowing of that, I think, with talking to some of the players at Wichita that bowled with her there, just how much reverence they had for her game and how amazing they thought she was. People like Sydney Brummett, who's an amazingly talented player herself, but she said some things about Dasha that made you think, she might be even more special than we think she could be. And now that she's broken out and has become possibly the biggest star we have on this tour, all those things are coming to fruition.
Was a dominant player on the collegiate scene at Wichita State, and after a few seasons, all came together, and now it's been fun. It's been fun to be on this trip with Dasha, the journey, and in talking to her, she's still very, very humble about it all, and still like, why do you guys want to talk to me so much? Why is this? So she still kind of has a little bit of that, I guess you want to say, self-doubt about the skills and everything that's come together, or at least that's how she portrays it to us from time to time. But it's been fun to watch her transform into one of the best players, not only on tour but on the planet.
Yeah, and it's very similar to people like Kelly Kulick. You talk to Kelly Kulick, and I put together her Hall of Fame video when she was inducted into the USBC Hall of Fame, and she really wasn't interested in talking about those incredible accomplishments that are in the past. She was, and that's the thing about when she got into the Hall of Fame, she was still a top performer on tour, and and that was a few years back, and we've seen that she's still one of the top performers. The last 2 tournaments she's finished 2nd and 3rd. But you talk to those type of players who have such high standards and high expectations for themselves, and it's kind of the old man in the sea quote. I've proven myself 1,000 times, but all of that doesn't matter. I still have to prove myself again each week. Every time's a new time, and you have to keep proving it. You can't dwell on the past and hope that that's going to make you successful in the future. Certainly, you can draw on those experiences, but you have to go out and prove it each week, especially out here on tour, because the level of competition is just so high.
In mentioning Kelly, I believe, and her making our jobs tougher, because we have to continually update her profile now. But I think after she got inducted was when she won team trials.
Yes.
And then after she was actually inducted, she won the Women's Championships All Events title in Wichita.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be more. So always having to update that bio page for Kelly.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see her adding a Queen's title to that resume this week.
If we have the chance to talk to her, I wanted to ask, because this building, this town, she's had some success over the course of the years. Going back, obviously the 2012 U.S. Women's Open, a dominant performance here at the stadium, then the win out on Virginia Street. I'd be curious just to hear the thoughts of every time you come back to this town and just walk by the arch and be like, I did something that no one else would probably ever do in this spot right here.
Yeah, no, that's
so cool.
It is very cool.
And every time I walk by the arch, that's what I see. I see those lanes up there.
Yeah.
I see Kelly throwing that plastic ball like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, and I got to spend some time with her last week at the ITCs. She called the shows for us, did a great job with that. But she was also kind of had one eye on what was happening at the PWBA event in Cleveland. She's definitely got the bug right now, and that was something we had talked about quite a bit, before COVID, and then during COVID. Is Kelly going to ever find that spark again to want to come back out and be, as competitive as she's been in the past and as competitive as we know she can be? And she certainly found it. And, I've seen in her eyes recently and the conversations we've had, just, kind of the joy coming back and enjoying, being out here competing and doing well and knowing she can do it and wanting to do it. And, I really think we're going to see a big week from her here. And she got a week off last week. We talked about that a little bit, and I had told her the story of Norm Duke, how he always would take a week off after a long stretch of travel, and it was refreshing for him. And she was very intrigued by that. I think is coming in here with a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm to do well.
Going to go ahead and switch over now to pairs 63 and 64. There we go. Catch the 10th frame. We have Tabitha Duvall finishing up, Leanne Holsenberg, and then Brandy Branca, who they split in the 6th frame. Everything else strikes so far, so she can shoot 260 the tough way.
Yeah, she had 254 the first game, and that's a nice little start when you're hovering around the cut line.
Brandy had a great run at the Queens here in this building in 2018. I believe just missing the final match to the 4-for-3 match. So top 8 finish last time we were here at the Queens, at the stadium. Liz Culkin going to have a nice game here. She's going to be in the 250s. Quick glance around the house with live scoring. Jordan Richard, some missed spares on the way to a 190 effort. So still plus 66 overall through 2 games here, but 3 missed makeables, it appears on the score sheet there. So
a strike there.
Across the house, though, not too crazy this game. Was Culkin in the 250s. Caitlin Johnson, 247. Then Brandy here.
McCarthy has a big game going as well.
Yeah.
259 possible.
Stringing some strikes. Tabitha, 171. Leanne, 186. Not going to get that second hit. But she's going to be 100 over for her first 2.
That'll get the job done.
This looks like this will wrap up our available bowling to watch here on our featured pairs. Still some still have a couple shots to go though on the low end of the house, so this will give us an opportunity to switch up some scoreboards here. So we will be back for game number 3 here, B Squad, second round of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Queens, the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Jason Thomas. Mike Flanagan, part of the Bowl TV crew as well this week, will be joining us a little bit later today. Big thank you to everybody for joining us here at the Bowl TV chat. We appreciate it as always. Y'all are the best. So sit back, let's relax, get ready for game 3 of 5 here in round number 2.
Our athletes should be now moved to the next set of games.
All right, good folks, underway for game 3 here. D squad second round of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Queens. We'll head over to 41 and 42 here. Take a look at Caitlin Johnson, Sandra Gongora. Well, not quite Caitlin Johnson just yet. She's going to reset. And then Blair Blumenscheid. Sandra at -10, Blair plus 73, and then Caitlin had a 247 last game to get to plus 210.
Caitlin Johnson having a good tournament so far. She's done pretty well in her rookie season. She's currently 21st in points for the season. She's made 2 of the top 12 / match play finals and 5 cashes so far. So basically made money just about every week she's been out on tour. But yet to have kind of a big breakthrough week like we saw Stephanie Zavala have last week. And this is, probably one of the better rookie classes we've had since the relaunch. Caitlin kind of holding the pose there on the 710. But Caitlin, one of that group of really talented rookies that we have out here this season with the cancellation of last season due to COVID. We've got a few even more rookies than we normally would, so it's a pretty strong class. And I'm not sure Stephanie Zavala was somebody we were really talking about as one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year, but with her big win last week, she would have to be considered the front runner at this point.
And Stephanie didn't bowl did not bowl the Kickoff Classic Series, so she actually didn't become a member until after that was all said and done. So I looked to come out for these first couple of events here, and obviously finding some success early on and continuing it here at the Cubs after starting off in second place after day number 1. But yeah, Caitlin, Brianna Clemmer, Taylor Bailey, Abby Ragsdale, Maria Bolanova, an incredibly strong rookie class here for the 2021 season. Many of them were scheduled to begin bowling in 2020. However, with the season getting canceled, they had to wait an extra year for that opportunity.
And, we say Stephanie's the front runner. It's all based on points. So whoever gets the most points wins. And there are a number of those names right behind Stephanie on the point list that still are in the running for Rookie of the Year for sure. Well, back-to-back opens for Caitlin Johnson now. 7-10 and then 5 through the nose. This is the point here, Aaron, where I said, hey, if you're making good shots and you start to see a ball creep high, make the move. Don't wait. Don't try to force it. Don't try to convince yourself that you just need to make a better shot. Just make the move. There is, some push if you move, get your feet in a little bit. You'll find some more oil. And the reason I say that is because we're using fire oil here this week. And even though this is generally considered, a little bit of a slicker surface, because of the fire, they're going to break down a lot quicker than they normally would. And, the volume, not super high, 25.7 mil volume. So as soon as you see that ball break loose on a shot that you think was good enough, make the move. Let's see what Caitlin does here. I don't know if she stayed where she was and just said, hey, don't miss in, and then she missed out. Because if you stay where you are and you miss out, the ball's not going to hook. It's a tough pattern. It looks like Caitlin's creeped a little bit left. That's good. That's a good sign. Good shot. I'll tell you that the last time we were here for the Queens, Shannon O'Keefe won. And she had a little trick that week, Aaron, which was she basically stayed between two different balls, same ball, just drilled a little differently. And when they started to hook, she would get in a little bit. She would try the other ball. If the other ball still didn't read and hit like she wanted it to, she would go to this little thing where she would kind of spin the ball a little bit just to get it through the front and then curve a little harder on the back end. And that was her trick. And I mean, she was in those matches, she was just dominant. You remember, had some really big numbers in those matches leading up to the TV show. And I really think that same formula works here this week. Wow, Caitlin, 4 straight opens after that missed spare. But I think Caitlin, she made the move, but she saw that ball hit a little bit flat. So she's either going to have to think about a ball change or a little bit of, like we'd said, that little bit of a change in the axis rotation to spin it a little bit to get it through the front a little cleaner and then break a little harder on the back end. Let's see if she does it here on the right lane. There we go. That one went through the pins nicely.
Score update after 7 games for B squad. Jordan Richard still a commanding lead, plus 296 overall. Liz Culkin losing second at plus 216 after a 490 start to her first 2. Caitlin Johnson at plus 210. Danielle McEwen plus 202. Stephanie Zavala plus 199. And Liz Johnson plus 158. Our current overall top 6 and top 6 on B squad. Abby Ragsdale having a nice tournament so far. She's at plus 137 here on B squad. Dasha Kovalova, our defending champion, plus 112. Brandy Branca plus 105 now after a 5:03 start. Erin McCarthy, 248 that last game. She's at plus 84. Shannon Puhowski plus 79. Serena Divis plus 75. For Puhowski, 246, 234 out of the gates to get to plus 79. So she was minus to start the day. Just minus 1, not a big minus, but has bounced back nicely after that start here. Has found something on the left side. And the cut really hasn't changed too much here in the early going. Still at minus 7. It was minus 8 to start today.
Yeah, 200's a good score. Pulling 200s and maybe catch one good game each block and make this cut. Sounds easy.
All right, we're going to bring in a special guest here for a quick recap of everything going on here at the NBS. Let's welcome him in, Mr. Matt McNeil.
Gentlemen, how's it going this morning? Good morning.
Morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's another great day here at the Taj Mahal of 10-pin. So every time I walk in this building, just always feels good to be back. It's kind of like a second home.
I would say after a couple of the years you had here at the Open Championships, you got to feel pretty comfortable every time you walk into this building, even though it looks completely different now.
It does. The renovation looks beautiful. They really did a nice job with it. But yeah, I mean, between my bowling here and then when I worked the tournament here, it just kind of feels like home. Brings back some good memories, and that all the experience of competition that I have here is. It always helps when it transfers over into your rep duties. You just kind of, you know the tendencies of the pairs, and you know the tendencies of the house.
Matt, I had a question about kind of the transition. It feels like, yesterday the straighter players got them early, and the players that hooked it got them late. It feels like because we're bowling on fire and the volume's kind of medium, that the transition happens pretty quickly. Do you feel like there's a lot of players out there that are kind of missing moves right around this point in the block?
Yeah, I think this is kind of what happens after the lanes get run quite a few times. They start transitioning really fast, and I think that's where you get more of the experienced players that are able to make bigger moves quicker, more confidently. That's just how the cream kind of comes to the top, really. And the players that are up towards the top, their instincts are really sharp right now, and they're very confident in their moves. So they're making those bigger moves, which you have to make, especially even going from the high end to the low end. That's quite a change there. They're making those moves really confidently, and they're doing the right things. So it's kind of where you see. When you start seeing a lot of N's next to folks' name on the scoreboard, that's usually why it shakes out that way, because you got the touring players that, they're a little more mentally sharp, mentally confident in their moves versus, maybe some of the non-members that come out here to test their abilities, and they're just not as experienced as the regular touring folks.
Yeah. Now, we saw Jordan yesterday. She bowled a huge block, only moved 3 boards the whole block. She did have a ball change in there. But do you feel like subtle moves are better on this pattern and in this tournament? Small hand position moves so you can stay in a ball for longer, or you've seen a lot of players make ball changes as part of their strategy for how they navigate their way across the bowling center?
I really think it depends on the situation. I think when you have good control of the pocket, I think that's when we're saying, you're in the right zone. This ball is very close. Now it's time to use your versatility skills, like you say, JT. Just making some hand position changes, a speed change, a loft change, something more subtle that still allows you to control the pocket and stay close, because it's not like 5 baggers are just falling out of the air here. So I mean, that's kind of the advice that we're giving to the players there. What was the other part of your question? Sorry, I kind of got down the rabbit hole with.
Oh, that was it. I mean, it feels like because of the shape of the pattern, you can kind of make small moves to the left. Like a lot of these patterns or a lot of these centers that we bowl on where the track is very well defined, you can start from out, but then once you have to move, it's a huge jump to the left. Whereas it feels like this week you can kind of creep your way to the left because of the way the pattern's playing. Is that true?
To an extent, yeah. I think people have had to make, when they go across 10, I think when the players elect to get left to 10, they need, they can't be 11 to 9 or 11 to 8, because that's just kind of that really bad zone of the lane, down lane. They have to, like, if they're say going up 8-9 and then that starts to go away, they need to get into like 13-14, because then they're going to have to slightly open up their angles, but you cannot get the ball right at 10 from left to 10. That's just been kind of the theme the whole entire week. And there's some pairs out there, especially more on the high end, that play pretty tight down lane. So there you even have to be a little closer down lane and at the arrows to the head pin. And there's some pairs, like say on the low end, that have a little more recovery, where if you throw one out to 9, it has the chance to start up and peel back. So you got to be really conscious of where you're at in the stadium, and then where you're getting the ball to down lane and your launch angles for the front part of the lane. But once you get left to 10, you kind of got to take that step. And for most people, you got to get into at least 13, 14, and then you can't get it no more right than 10. 10's kind of your gutter. 11's kind of probably the sweet spot for you.
Matt, over the course of the these couple squads you've been able to see, what have equipment choices, what have types of bowling balls that you guys have been recommending for quite a few players out there? What's been looking good?
Our asymmetric balls have been really, really good. RSTXs, Parallax Effect, Parallax, Rubicon UC2, Astrophysics, even though it's not currently, we don't make those anymore. A few of the players still have some of those. They've been using those with good success. But the asymmetry has really helped players, because with asymmetric bowling balls, what happens is the core spins up closer to you, and it wants to make more of a pronounced motion in the middle part of the lane. And that's really what you need here when you get into, say, 14, 15, and you're trying to get the ball to 10, but you need it to slow down very close to you and work harder in the middle part of the lane. So that's why our asymmetric balls have really been matching up very, very well for our players. Jordan Richard threw a Rubicon the whole entire day yesterday, and it was obviously fared very, very well. So that's kind of been the trend with everybody on our team so far.
All right, Matt. Well, we appreciate you swinging by as always, and always great to see you here at the NBS as well. So, my friend, we'll let you get back to doing what you do, and thanks for joining us here on Bowl TV.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Aaron McCarthy bowling a big game here. Aaron Smith, possible 279 after tripping that 4 for a shot in the 10th.
4-pin, the lone hit she did not get in the 8th frame up to this point. That one definitely looked a little left off her hand. The shot in the 8th.
Throwing pins.
Just mean right there. So she's going to jump to a nice spot. Going to be right around plus 160.
She was not happy with her performance last week. It's kind of her first bad week since the tour resumed at the Kickoff Classic, and she'd been bowling very well. And so kind of coming in here with a little fire.
Little fire. I like that. It's her final shot.
Getting a look at a different ball, and 278.
Some other big games out there. 258 from Danielle McCune. Jordan Richards, some struggles, 169. So she's going to give some pins back to the field. Saw some struggles that game from Caitlin Johnson. Deandra at 257. McCarthy with the 278 leading the way here. Fuhowski, 716 out of the gates here. 236 that game. Liz Culkin, 246. She's at 736 overall, so she's having a tremendous block up to this point. So she's going to be creeping up on the lead here as well. But as we finish up game 3, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break to rearrange some cameras here. We'll be right back for the final 2 games. B Squad qualifying round 2 at the 2021 USBC Queens from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada.
All right, athletes, you may now move to your next pair of lanes.
All right, everybody, we should be back here. Game 4 of 5 here. B squad qualifying round number 2 for the 2021 USBC Queens. My name is Aaron Smith alongside Jason Thomas. Mike Flanagan from Inside Bowling will be joining us a little bit later today. Staying on 47-48, we have Abby Ragsdale, Angie Ramirez-Perea, and Brianna Cote, all players plus. Abby at plus 122 leading the way. Bree at plus 51, Angie at plus 14. Question in the chat about 43 and 44. If you watched the competition during the Masters and the U.S. Open, that pair was also one we had skipped over. It ended up just being due to there's actually stairs right behind the pair. So kind of based off of where everything else was set up, that kind of created an awkward angle to get that one. So to kind of keep pace with the way we've been shooting things, 43 and 44, unfortunately, was had to be left off just because of kind of how it's set with the stairs being there behind the pair to get up to the concourse level. So that is why it's not all the way from 39 to 72. We just have that one little hiccup on 43 and 44. So that is one we will encourage you to check out the live scoring for. Another question, quick women's championships question from Jeannie, and that is something we do not have the pinfall club. A couple of reasons for that, but if you want to send me a message, I can clarify that a little bit more. As well. Tabani got the Nintendo Classic. Congratulations. Thanks for being part of the Bowl TV community. And we will have a giveaway coming up later in this block as well. So be on the lookout for that, folks. For Brian in the Bowl TV chat, since he used all caps, I will give you updates throughout the course of the game. Jordan went strike, and then she expertly picked up the 3-9-10. More than a baby split, I guess. I don't know if that has an official name.
It's a nasty one.
And then she left a 10-pin and picked it up. So clean through 3. She's at plus 265. So we'll keep you updated on Jordan. Once again, after the strong start today, 277, has found some trouble here at the NBS 190 and then in the 160s to drop plus 265. And might have to see if we can get some additional coverage on 71 and 72 because Liz Culkin has gotten pretty close to the number, if not taken it over. So we'll get that set up in just a second as well. All right, looks like Liz Culkin at plus 262 now, so 3 pins behind Jordan Richard, who just split in frame number 4. She left the 4-6, so has gone through the nose both shots on lane 44. So we'll head over to Culkin's pair in just a moment here. Take a look to see how she is attacking the lanes as well. Bowling with Jennifer Couples, who has the front 5 this game, and Claudia Cabrera. Culkin delivers the double after the split and open frame in the third. 736 out of the gates today. Make this run toward the top of the leaderboard. Going back in the chat here. Hey, Sean. Hey, Judy. A lot of folks ask about the points that tend to be accumulated, and we actually haven't announced all that yet. So when we do, we'll let you know. But sit back, enjoy, and keep collecting. Jordan Richard bounced back with a strike in the 5th frame over on lane 44, but has to figure something out on the right lane over there. Pair of splits so far. She'll be stepping up for her 6th frame in a moment. Although Culkin really not doing anything to push her at the moment for the top spot. This single pin. Jordan bounces back with a double on 44, so gets that first strike on the right lane. Jordan Richard still your leader at plus 265, but some struggles in game 2 and game 3 have allowed the field to sneak up a little bit closer. And mentioned 258 that last game for Danielle McCune. That actually pushes her into 3rd place. So it's right now 3 players within 5 for the lead here. Jordan Richard at plus 265, Liz Culkin at plus 262 and Danielle McEwen at plus 260. Stephanie Zavala fourth at plus 234. Then a bit of a jump. Fifth place, Liz Johnson plus 175. Erin McCarthy with the big 278 game, now in sixth place overall, plus 162. Caitlin Johnson plus 158 will continue on B squad here. Abby Ragsdale plus 122. Shannon Puhowski, who's having a strong day so far, plus 115. Sabrina Divis plus 109. Those are all the players on B squad currently plus 100 or better. And the cut still really hasn't changed too much. Still at -8. So it's gone. Started at -8, went to -7 for a second there, then back to -8. So DMAC on the move as well. So where's she at this game? Danielle on 27 and 28 and had started off pretty strong. Spare four-bagger before a split in the sixth frame. But she can still get to 255 this game. She's able to strike the rest of the way out. Alexis Nyer, 35 and 36, put together a nice game. Can still shoot 290 through 7 frames, working on 6 in a row. And Abby Ragsdale is throwing some strikes as well. Let's head back over there. To the open in the first, she has delivered 6 in a row. Jordan Richard split in the 7th frame, so she has 119 in the 7th. So we could see Danielle McEwen jumping into the lead for the first time here. Although DMAC back-to-back splits, she's open 2 frames in a row, so it seems like quite a few players finding some struggles here in game number 4, who are at the top of the leaderboard. So Stephanie Zavala was, she started with a couple opens, but was working on a string of strikes there. So potentially Stephanie could make a jump there. And her max now 213. Potentially not enough. So everyone's kind of slowing down at the top here. As a reminder, our second block of the day, A Squad is going to hit the lanes at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 local time. So we had about a 3.5-hour break yesterday between blocks, so expect that to be pretty similar today. Angie looking for 5 in a row. Look pretty good. Back-to-back light hits from Abby. Collegiate standout at St. Francis, Illinois. Player of the year for the Fighting Saints. We haven't talked a lot about Bree this week, but going back, we've made a lot of references to the 2018 Queens, and one thing I don't believe we mentioned is that she was actually the top seed for the show. So Cote went undefeated in match play last time we were here for the Queens. Ended up losing in the title match to Shannon O'Keefe. She's coming off a runner-up finish at the Cleveland Open. So that if you look at what happened in the 2018 season, that actually is what happened for Cote. She was the runner-up the event before the Queens, and then the runner-up at the Queens. Already does have a win this season, but let's see if she can make another long run here in the bracket in Reno. Liz Culkin finished with 190. So she's going to be at plus 252. Jordan is stepping up for her 10th frame right now. I did not get the first hit, so she is going to max out in the 170s here. If she makes the spare, and that's going to drop her to the plus 230 range. Let's see what Zavala got to. $191. So she's going in the wrong direction. So this is an opportunity for Danielle McCune. Who did nothing too crazy. Shot 200. Had 3 opens that game. But early 4-bagger. To go along with all 3 in the 10th. So it looks like by going even, she's actually going to move into the lead. How about that? 177 finish for Jordan, so she's going to be at plus 242. Nice 235 from Abby Ragsdale. So she's going to get to 157 over. Bree at 235. It's going to be at plus 86. Angie can get into the 240s with this shot here. Oh. That one took its sweet time to fall out of there, but 7-pin did what it was supposed to. Just fall down, strike, no problem. So she's going to have a nice little jump here in the standings as well. 247 with a strike on the fill means plus 61, so pretty nice jump. We'll head over to 51 and 52 next, catch the end of Liz Johnson's game. There we go. Nice game. Nice game by everybody there. So Liz can max out at 247 here. Get north of plus 200. That one was left all the way, however, though. So with the spare can get into the 220s. And it's pretty quiet around the house here, so we'll be quickly changing to game 5. $227 for Liz, two-time Queens champion, plus 202. That means it's time for game 5, folks. So we're going to go ahead and make some switches here, and we will be right back here on Bowl TV for the USBC Queens. All right, folks. Time for Game 5 here for B Squad. Second round of qualifying 2021 USBC Queens. And we're going to watch our new tournament leader here, Danielle McCune, who, as we said at the end of Game 4, did nothing too crazy. Shot 200, stayed even. But that was enough as a few of the players ahead of her struggled in Game 4. So unofficially, the top three right now, Danielle McCune at plus 260. Liz Culkin at plus 252, and then Jordan Richard at plus 242. Danielle fresh off a show last week in Cleveland, her second of the season. It's been a roller coaster of a year, but potentially this is going to be the part of the season where DMAC just gets into that mode where she's just reminds us that she's one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world.
Yeah, certainly seems like she is back. Aaron Smith. I don't know if she ever really went anywhere, but there were certainly some things, some odd things, un-Danielle-like things happening, with the miscut at the Hall of Fame Classic and then the injury. She's kind of gone back and forth between that non-bowling shoe on her right foot. Looks like she's back to it this week, but had the big week last week, which would seem to put to rest any major concerns. But for somebody who's as high as she is on the point list this season, for people to be questioning what's wrong with her, it just shows you how well she's bowled the last couple of seasons. She's currently 11th on the point list going into this week, but has been a contender for Player of the Year the last 2 seasons, and is having another good week here so far.
She's going to be joined by Brianna Andrew, Hope Gramley, and Haley Richard. Haley at plus 21, Hope at minus 64, and Brianna at minus 54 entering this game.
A little surprised at Hope's score currently, but it is a good opportunity for her getting the bowl with Danielle McCune.
Yeah, that's a pretty good track record right there. Get to be coached by Shannon O'Keefe throughout the whole season. Go to Queens, get to cross with Danielle McCune.
It's definitely getting a good roadmap. Oof. That's just not fair.
Morning, Jim.
Oh, trips the 3 forward. Nice little break. Let's get a look here at where Danielle McCune is playing. She's kind of doing something we don't typically see her do very often, which is slow hooking the lane.
Oh, get out of there, 9-pin. Yeah, closer to like 15, 16 there. And that is one thing we've heard a lot about this week from players of all different styles, rev rates, is how crucial the speed control is this week. Having your ball read the pattern correctly. Heard that pop up more so than in some of the other weeks so far.
Yeah, and Danielle, we've seen in the bowlers assessments that are done as part of your Team USA training, that Danielle is one of the most versatile players, in terms of being able to change her axis rotation, vary her ball speed. But I don't feel like we see her all that often out on tour using all those tools. She typically tends to prefer to play a little straighter, which she's by far one of the best at. Many of her titles are on patterns where you have to keep the ball in front of you. Certainly she's won the U.S. Women's Open, so she's you have to be one of the best shot makers to win that event, and she certainly is. But it's nice to see her trying something a little different here this week and having success with it, because we know she can do all these things.
And after a strong opening day, she does have that ability in a situation where you're probably not going to have things get so bad to bowl yourself out of the tournament. As we've talked about many times, and we'll continue to mention, it's 2 events in one, so just got to make the dance. But I think for a couple of players, if you're at that plus 200 mark right now, as Danielle is, she's leading at plus 260. This is kind of that opportunity to maybe try a few different bowling balls, maybe try a few different part of the lane, or a few different spots on the lane. And just try to lock down the best path, best choices for the change to the double elimination match play bracket. You get to stay on the same pair all of a sudden, so the notes throughout the course of the week, if you were able to hit that pair, becomes very important. And of course, understanding how your opponent is going to break it down.
Good question in the chat. What are the biggest tournaments for the women to win? And you're looking at one right here, certainly the Queens, the U.S. Women's Open. The other, this season we will not have the Players' Championship or the Tour Championship, which were majors on the PWBA Tour in the past. Danielle McEwen has won the Tour Championship and the U.S. Women's Open, so this would give her the full Triple Crown if you were to pull off a win here this week. And she would also be the current holder of both major titles at the time. Right? Right?
Look at you go, JT.
It's like a mini Tiger Slam.
Look at you go, JT. Well, she's hoping to get those 4-9s out of the way here in qualifying. Take the one, her first open here.
Yeah, and you can see the way Danielle's playing the lanes versus the way Hope is playing the lanes. Danielle is creating some hold by playing more left to right. Whereas, Hope is trying to play a little straighter up the lane, even though they're in similar parts of the lane. But because Hope is a little bit more keeping it in front of her, she doesn't have it really any hold when she does get the ball left.
Taking a look at live scoring, Liz Culkin on 29 and 30. Nothing too crazy this game for her. She contends for the lead as well. Open in the sixth, she's at 112. Max score of 232. You have Jordan Richard available on 65 and 66. She is clean through 5, but no doubles up there yet.
Yeah, she's going to want to try to figure out a way to throw some strikes here at the end of the game to give her some breathing room going into tomorrow. Not a great feeling to be 180 game away from missing the cut. And this is the cut you really don't want to miss.
I believe Hope's just a junior for McKendree, so one more season left to go for the Bearcats. But we'll be excited to see if she's going to spend some time on tour in the future. Very smooth, very effortless game.
She's a great athlete. She played volleyball at McKendree as well. I'm not sure if she still plays, but really good athlete. She's got a very sound physical game. Everything is textbook. But, so certainly, some tricks to learn. And getting to watch Danielle this week is going to help her quite a bit. We saw she moved off that spot where she was going high, and then the ball flat 10'd. And so, that's a ball change or, hand position adjustment. And, Danielle is just kind of effortlessly cycling through equipment. You can just see the difference in experience and tricks. And, Danielle's got a huge cushion right now, too, so she can afford to try some different things and she's even going to make another ball change here.
Pretty unique situation with the bowling balls for the players this week. The paddock is actually here on the concourse at the National Bowling Stadium, so similar to what they had at the Masters and the U.S. Open. So what are those 4x4 blocks? Is that, I believe, what they are, JT?
Yeah, you're allowed to put as many bowling balls in those squares as you can reasonably fit. And we got a pretty good look at what a reasonable amount of bowling balls could be at the Masters and the U.S. Open.
Yes, there's some creative ways to get there.
Yeah, I think we saw as many as 26 balls in a space.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Jordan Richard here. Just missed a single pin in the sixth frame. So really did not expect Jordan to, after that 277 start, to kind of slow down like that. But perhaps, this has been, she talked about it yesterday about wanting to gather information. So maybe today's been more of a test things out type of block for her.
It could be. I mean, you don't want to lead this tournament by 500 pins.
Yeah,
it's kind of
there's no point to it. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Like, is this one event where no one really wants to talk to us for the first 3 days? Because
you're right.
It's like, there's really no bonus.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to go out there and dominate. The other thing that could happen if you do dominate is you could draw Dasha Kovalova. It's not looking like that's going to happen. She's 115 over, so it looks like she's well on her way to making the cut. But yeah, you might be your reward for leading the tournament is getting to bowl the defending champion.
So we do have an update here now available online. McEwen plus 260, Culkin plus 252, Jordan Richard plus 242, Zavala plus 225, Liz Johnson plus 202, and then a drop to Caitlin Johnson next at plus 160, Abby Ragsdale plus 157, Aaron McCarthy plus 144. Cut line still stays minus 3 now. Valerie Bercier looking to finish with a big game here. Still shoot 278 on 17 and 18.
Yeah, that's huge for her, hovering around the cut line.
Ms. Culkin can shoot 232 this game. So she struck in the 7th, 8th, and 9th frames on 29 and 30. So potentially with the way this game is pacing for Danielle and Jordan. Zavala is going to be 212 at most, so she's not going to get there. Let's see, where's Liz? We've got to keep an eye on Liz Johnson. Yep, see, that's why we keep an eye on Liz Johnson. She shoots 290.
Yes, yeah, you don't want to take your eye off her.
I kept scrolling down, like, where's Liz at? I know I got to keep an eye on Liz. 7 in a row. They're sparing the first.
Mike Flanagan and I ran into her earlier this week and just basically asked her point blank, what happened last week? And she said, I don't know. I couldn't figure anything out. I just don't know. So, it happens to the greatest of us.
Just one of those weeks.
It's just bowling sometimes.
So Liz could still get to plus 292. If Vulcan strikes out, she shoots 232. That would be plus 284. So that's what we know right now. Liz did not strike in the 9th frame after, or I should specify because they're both Liz Johnson. Did not strike in the 9th frame, so it's going to drop her max down to 269. Culkin got the first hit in the 10th. Danielle finished with 183, so she's going to drop to plus 243. Culkin with the double, so it looks like Liz Culkin is going to be pacing the field here after 10 games for B Squad, the 2021 USBC Queens. prior to wrapping up here, folks, we still got to do our giveaway. So we know you've been waiting around. You've been hanging out here on Bowl TV. So let's get that going here. A chance to win a Bowl TV t-shirt. One lucky viewer. All you have to do, click on the submit entry button when you see it in the bottom left-hand corner of the video screen. If you are in full screen mode, we do recommend you take it out for a quick second so you can see the prompt on the screen, but we're going to go ahead and get that started here. And good luck, everybody. Remember, there's a countdown first, and then a second prompt. That's when you'll see the submit entry button. Go ahead and click it, and you'll be set for a chance to win here on Bowl TV. Talked about Liz a little bit earlier this week, finding some success at the USBC Women's Championships. She's currently leading the team event for Bowl to Win teammates. She took over the all events lead briefly. Had it for about 3 hours. Before it was overtaken by Ashley Crowder, and then the next day, Shalyn Zulkifli took it over once again and sets the current pace. Shalyn competing this week as well. Pretty close to wrapping up across the house here. Congratulations to Dana for winning our giveaway, the Bowl TV t-shirt. So Dana, our marketing team, will be reaching out to you shortly to make sure we can get you the right size shirt so you can wear your Bowl TV t-shirt proudly. I don't even have JT, I don't have a Bowl TV t-shirt.
Well, you should. You should.
How did this happen?
Yeah, you deserve one. How many points do you have, Aaron?
At 1549.
Ooh, that's
so
pretty good.
I feel you're still crushing me, though.
I am 2905.
My goodness.
But I'm sure you'll make a run at me at some point.
You just have to take some time off. That's the only way it's going to happen.
You know, I'm going to try some different bowling balls and, you know, get a look for the match play portion of our competition. So yeah, that's when you'll catch up.
There you go. All right. I'll gain my pins then.
We'll have Liz Culkin join us here in a moment. Talk about her day.
Let's see, where did Liz start at today? Liz Culkin was plus 126. So obviously a nice opening day, average 2.25, but surpassed that and then some today to get to plus 284. And outside of the 190 in game 4, pretty dominant performance. 235, 255, 246, 190, and then the 232 to finish. So 158 over for the day.
Yeah, only one game under 200 for the whole tournament so far. A couple folks asking about how to gain points, and it's just a feature that we're testing in beta mode right now.
So we encourage you to get as many points as you can.
Yes. Watch a lot.
They're all for free right now. Right?
Yep. Yep.
All right, JT, it looks like Liz is ready, so we're going to bring her in as we finish up the squad. So let's press this button right here. And there we go. Hi, Liz.
Hello, how are you?
We're doing pretty well. Nice day out there. You've had two pretty solid rounds today. A lot of games over 230. Just what was working for you after, yesterday, 126 over? What were the adjustments to have an even stronger day here in the second round?
Yeah, so yesterday I was really satisfied with how I bowled. I bowled a really solid block, had no games under 200, which is always great. I missed a couple moves, I threw a couple splits that were in inopportune times. Today for me, they hooked a little bit earlier, so I actually had to throw a different ball today. I had to shape the ball a little bit more, and, I like to do that. If I had to pick one of the two, I want to shape the ball a little bit more, and because of that, my angle into the pocket was a little bit better today, and I was able to strike a lot. Made a couple more spares. I actually had a 190 game on the low end, the high end today. They're kind of tricky down there, but came back to another tricky pair on 29 and 30 right next to the entrance there, and I actually had a really good game. So very satisfied with today. Luckily, I struck a lot.
Liz, you've had, I don't know if I'll let you characterize it, but I think for you, maybe a little bit of a slow start to the season. What do you think that's attributed to? And do you think you're kind of over the hump now and you feel sharp?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I agree with you. Of course, I would have liked to make a show by now, but I've had a couple solid weeks. I've made the top 12 a couple times. I've cashed every time, which at this point in my career, you're correct. Like, I'm out here to make shows. I'm not out here to grab a check. So I just needed to follow the transition a little bit more this week. Actually, last time the Queens was at the stadium, I didn't make the cut. So, that kind of was in the back of my head. I had a really good USBC Women's Championships, which really helped. My ball went through the pins really well there. Obviously, this is a lot harder shot, but I had that confidence going into this tournament, and I just feel solid. I feel like I have a really good look, and I just have to execute shots at this point. So if I keep doing that, I'm going to be okay.
Liz, you mentioned the Women's Championships, and you're leading the team event right now. You took over the lead briefly for all events as well. You talked about the confidence that brought to you, even though much different pattern, much different tournament format. But how important was it for you just to see your ball strike a bunch here prior to the Queens starting off?
Absolutely. So I think with any event, when you bowl at a certain center, you just want to see your ball go through the pins. And like I said, while the USBC Women's Champion shot is obviously a lot softer than what we're bowling on right now, if you can get your ball to go through the pins at a certain center and you see that and you're capable of striking a lot, I know for me, that's just a momentum thing for me. I'm able to just keep executing shots, and I really haven't left 9 very often so far. So it's pretty easy to keep your swing loose when you have that kind of look.
Liz, you've won the U.S. Open. You've made the show in the Queens in the past. What would it mean to you to notch this win here at the Queens, being one of the biggest tournaments that we have out here?
So I'm very proud to be a U.S. Open winner. Obviously that's very prestigious on its own, but I think a lot of people know that I go by Queen Bee. I've won the New York State Queens 3 times, and I love having a tiara from there, but I need a USBC tiara. So it would mean a lot to me to win the Queens. It's obviously another really prestigious tournament, and I want to go home with the tiara this week. So.
All right, well, Queen Bee, we will let you take your leave here from Bowl TV, but thank you for joining us here. Great bowling once again, and we look forward to seeing you compete the rest of the way out, and look forward to the bracket coming up soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, JT, that was Liz Culkin. She is our overall tournament leader here through 10 games on B Squad, averaging just a tad under 230 so far for her 10 games. Had success at the Women's Championships, has carried over here. And we're kind of getting to that point where we're starting to see, a little bit of, the cut number, kind of the players who are taking some chances, trying to learn some things, and then still some players fighting for a spot in that top 64.
Yeah, certainly a couple players have broken loose. Jordan Richard, probably maybe took her foot off the accelerator after that 270 earlier today and tried some different things. Danielle McEwen's in great shape, Liz Culkin as well. It was nice to see Valerie Bercier have a big finish to her block. A lot of players, will want to get to that 50, 60, 70 over number going into tomorrow, so they don't have to sweat out the cut. It looks like the cut's going to stay around where it was the first day, right around even. So any pins you can gain on that number today is gonna make tomorrow a little bit easier for you.
All right, folks. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break here with the squad complete. We will be back here on Bowl TV for A Squad for their second round, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 local time here in Reno, which is about 3.5 hours from now. So we get a nice long break. You get a nice long break. Is today Friday?
It is.
Holy cow, it's Friday. So here's what you do, folks. You can show this video to your boss. I'm giving you permission. Take a nice long lunch. It's okay. Come back. May even take a little nap in there. I might do that as well. And then you'll be ready for this final 5-game block for the day. And we'll have 10 games in here at the Queens. But that's going to go ahead and or that's going to wrap things up for us here from the National Bowling Stadium. Big thanks to the USBC and the USBC Board of Directors. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider here for USBC short duration events, our gold industry partners in 900 Global, Storm, and Rotogrip, the RSCVA and the Row, the Queens participants here, of course, for putting on the great show here each and every week as part of the PWBA tour. Of course, you, the fans on Bowl TV, we couldn't do it without you. Always love the interaction in the chat. Looking forward to chatting a little bit more in the later block as well. And then, of course, to the staff here on site for helping out. So for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll see you soon here on Bowl TV for the USBC Queens. And remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you in a couple hours.